Good morning, Plano, and welcome to SGPN Episode 2. Thanks for sending us your good news. We're glad you're back for another week, and we hope you're doing okay. A few quick shout-outs this week to start the show. This past week was National Community Development Week. Help our community by completing your census. Did you know filling out your census form helps us fund programs such as homelessness prevention, accessibility in our city, housing rehabilitation, and more? It's just a few questions, and you can fill it out at 2020census.gov. This week, we also celebrated National Animal Control Officer Appreciation Week. Please join us in thanking Plano's Animal Services officers. We also celebrated Telecommunicators Week. We want to thank our Plano 911 team for the excellent work they do each and every day. So remember, tag us in your good news and use our hashtag #LovePlano. And now for some good Plano news. Now let's start the show off right. A special needs teacher from Plano ISD made a video of the Texas Pledge for her class. So, without further ado, please join us and comment in the Texas Pledge.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
That is amazing. And let me tell you, the dogs are back this week to try to steal the show. Let's take a look. Moose hit the Arbor Hills trails this past week and soaked up some great weather while posing for a couple perfect pictures. Celebrating Easter, these pups took to their backyard for their own Easter egg hunt. They sure look like they had a great time, and they seem pretty successful too. This four-legged friend found the perfect place to snap a picture on their walk. Nelson and George even tuned in for a Plano Library virtual story time this past week. Make sure to check out the Plano Library Facebook page weekdays at 11 a.m. for reading, rhyming, and learning. Have you been feeling creative at home? Cindy sent us some chalk art this week to celebrate the Easter holiday. Have you been seeing chalk art on your walks? Make sure to send them to us. A first grader at Centennial Elementary School has spent their time making some pretty great quarantine art. Thanks so much for sharing. Have you tuned into the Plano Arts and Events Monday watercoloring lessons? A former Plano librarian has been painting along with us and shared their creations. They did a great job. Be sure to check out the Plano Arts and Events Facebook page for the next lesson on Monday. How are you staying active? Rizwan took to the backyard to work on his soccer skills. Let's check it out. Others took a walk to get some fresh air this past weekend while we had nice weather. Don't forget to say hi to our park monitors if you see them while you're out. Others grabbed great evening shots while out and about. Ellie started an environmental initiative in her community. She realized that there's food insecurity at this time, and she wanted to do her part to ease the uncertainty and allow neighbors to feel productive. So, her and her mom created a seed library. They added seeds for vegetables, fruits, and flowers, and anyone can take some to start a garden. They even included a log inside to see the progress made in the neighborhood, as well as instructions about sanitary measures to take. Great job, Ellie. That is some good Plano news. This past week, many people sent love to our hospital teams and other frontline workers. Our police and fire teams went to Medical City Plano to show their appreciation. Let's check it out. Check out the residents that pitched in to support the healthcare heroes with coffee deliveries to both the morning and evening shifts at local hospitals. Facebook Friends raised over $1,200 to support the workers on the front lines. Thanks to Plano Magazine for highlighting this story. That is some good Plano news. Earlier this week, our police and fire crews drove by Texas Health Hospital to send their support in the form of waves and smiles. Let's check that one out. A few more shout outs to our public safety teams. Many kids have had to miss birthday celebrations recently. Our Plano Fire Rescue team tried to brighten the day of one birthday kid.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Alumni of the Plano Citizens Police Academy have stepped up to volunteer for seniors or those unable to leave their residence to go grocery shopping. Thank you guys for all your help. And for our last story this episode, we want to welcome back a familiar face. Officer David Tilley is back at work, and we caught up with him on Wednesday. Hello, Officer Tilley. It's so great to see you, even through a computer. So for those that don't know, you did contract COVID-19, but you have recovered, correct?
That's correct.
Awesome, and we see you're back at work. So
I am.
that's great. Tell us a bit about that timeline and how you're feeling now.
Well, the timeline kind of started basically on March the 18th. I received a phone call from Chief Drain, and he was letting me know that I was being placed on administrative leave along with everyone else in our office because one of our employees that I had come in contact with on Friday the 13th of March tested positive for COVID-19. So Chief Drain did a really good job making sure that everybody was protected and taking all the necessary precautions on that. So I was at home, and at that point it was 23rd, I guess, on a Monday of March. I started feeling a little bit symptomatic. I was fine up until that point, and I started having, I would call it flu-like symptoms. I was really tired, had a headache, was running a low-grade fever, sinus problems, coughing, sneezing, different things like that. And that continued on into the next day, Tuesday the 24th. And I went ahead and I'd called on the 23rd to let my lieutenant know that, that I was exhibiting some symptoms as I was told to do. And they scheduled me for a test on the 24th, and I went in and took the test. That night before going to bed, I took a NyQuil nighttime. We were told to treat the symptoms. So a NyQuil nighttime and a couple of Tylenol for my headache. I woke up on Wednesday the 25th and felt great. I no longer had a headache. My temperature had settled down and was running normal. And it just kind of, only thing I was really having was just a little bit of sinus issues, but not a whole lot. Nothing that it would have bothered me at all. It was that day that I received, later on that evening, I received a phone call from my doctor, and as well as my test results showing that I was positive.
Okay, that's interesting because, of course, a lot of people have different symptoms. So it was maybe just a couple days for you to sound like that you were symptomatic?
Yeah, it really was. And honestly, to the symptoms that I had, had this COVID-19 virus been, had not been going around, they weren't bad enough that I probably wouldn't have gone ahead and come to work.
That's interesting. Well, we're glad you're feeling better now. And like I said, we can see that you're back at work. So how long have you been back at work?
I started back on Monday, this past Monday. So this is our second day back to work. So working, obviously there's a lot of stuff that I can do from home, but not everything. And so I've been doing some of the work from home while I was off. And now this is my second day back in the office.
Okay, well, we're glad you're back. We're glad to have you back. And one thing we also talked about is that you were kind of already looking for ways to kind of give back or kind of what you can do. So talk about that for us.
Well, I did some research, and I found out that there is this term convalescent plasma. and I was hearing some reports that some of the medical professionals were saying that the convalescent plasma carry antibodies that someone who has recovered from the COVID-19 virus carry in their system that potentially could help someone else who might have more severe symptoms or maybe hospitalized or on a ventilator. So I've been doing some research on that, and apparently I guess that's different than your regular plasma donations. And I have signed up through the American Red Cross, Carter Blood Care, and UT Southwestern as a donor. And you fill out a complete form and you kind of give them all your basic information. And from that point, they will get back in touch with me and let me know if I am a qualified donor. And if so, I definitely want to do that. I mean, this is something that, there's a low percentage of people who've contracted this virus and tested positive. So I look at this as an opportunity. I mean, I was sick for a little while, but it wasn't long and it wasn't real bad. So this is my opportunity to do something good, to give back and try to help somebody else who might be in need and might benefit from, the sickness that I went through.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for that. And thank you for joining us on Some Good Plano News. That was obviously some great news.
Thank
So
you.
again, we're glad to have you back, and we'll see you later, okay?
All right. Thanks. Good to be back.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye. You bet.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for Some Good Plano News, Episode 2. Don't forget to share with us what you and your neighbors are doing to spread some good news. Tag us and you might just be featured on next week's episode. Thanks again, and remember, take care of yourself, take care of each other, share some good news, and stay home, Plano.